Yo, crypto nation and mining family. What's going on? What's going on? Thank you, Cammy. She was like bound and determined to sit on my arm of my chair here, and I'm like, I give you some room, okay? So what is going on? I'm trying a little something new out, seeing if people like the live stream format of some news, or if everybody ends up liking it broken up into little smaller chunks that I kind of pre-record in like 10-20 minute segments, and then you can kind of digest the news that way. And then I'll try to do like rig specific stuff in the afternoon, around that 4-ish o'clock if I've got anything like that going on, which I'll probably end up doing another A2000 mod this afternoon. So if you guys enjoy that stuff, certainly stick around for that this afternoon. But I will be doing a little bit of the hardware news, kind of going back to my roots a little bit on this, so I hope you like that. Ads. Death! What's going on? Techman, yo, we got Crypto Mikhail with the FA. What's up? What's up? Yesterday I got myself a nice little fresh haircut. Ooh-wee. Got all the undergrowth trimmed up, man. This stuff gets annoying on the back of your neck. I used to grow it all out nice and long, but you know, over the years I'm like, man, that's too hot. But I hope that you guys enjoy a little bit of the news in the format that I'm going to be addressing this in, guys. So let's check it out. Boom. We're going to start off with the Intel Core 24 core i9 13900K. Their new Raptor Lake has been leaked. Their flagship at 6 gigahertz. Does this mean anything to you? Even if you were to get your hands on one of these, absolutely not. They were pushing these to the limit. This is not on air cooling in any way, shape, or form. I would probably say conservatively, it's going to be, maybe 4.9 gigahertz, maybe 5.2 gigahertz on all core, just for heat purposes. Whenever you start seeing these pushing out at the higher frequency, the first thing you're going to notice is that they've got the voltages pulled really high. 1.546 volts on this chipset on going to an individual core. That is a lot of power, guys. Put that in for me. I run about, whenever I go to push my Threadripper really hard, I actually pull a little voltage off of it so that I get a little better thermal headroom on it. But I'm like 1.327 volts going to all 8 cores on mine. So seeing that this is pulled put at a little over 1.5 volts per core, this is an extreme overclock on here, guys. I will guarantee you. And then when you come down to this tells you everything you need to know right here. So we have over a 6 megahertz on all core, a 6,000 megahertz on all core, which is awesome. But if you look at the CPU temperature, 27C. We got 38C on the, I'm not sure exactly what these are, but I know because of this, that's the CPU. Under 30C, full load like that, no way are you going to tell me that this is, that this isn't under LN2. So this is, it's like this is going to be a straight up benchmark for them. But still, not a real world thing that you're going to see in your chips. This would you'd be looking at like a 500-watt chip if you could do this with mandatory liquid cooling on there. That would be insane to try to run anything like this. So I mean, you can see the single thread performance score that it landed itself on. So it did pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I think that's the chipsets are coming along a lot lately. Got somebody that's trying to message me. They're gonna have to wait. But it's really cool to see that that these people are able to push the chips into this direction. You know me, I love overclocking stuff to the extreme. And I've been chomping at the bit of wanting to grab a LN2 pot so that I could start doing some extreme mining. That's the goal. It's in the pipe works. It's just priorities first. So I'm setting up the mining facility as of right now, which that's going great. I got another fan to go into the facility. And my home doge Mikkel, of course, he is waiting for the baby to come popping out. So the baby's not there yet. Not here. Still in the oven. It's like Tech Man. It's like I thought about the Z690 classified and the 13900 non-K edition. Those aren't too bad. It's not too bad. I mean, it depends on what your timer is set. Nice. But it's like it depends on what you're doing with your computer, I think. When it comes down to streaming, it doesn't matter if you've got Intel or AMD when it comes down to streaming. That they're both going to do that particular job very well. So it's like, yeah, gonna need a render PC soon. So with the rendering, that's where I've got my AMD stuff. AMD will render a little bit better, 17 hour-ish left. Everyone panic. So I mean, like, I don't mind the Intel side of it, but when it comes down to rendering, it depends on how you're rendering. You can do GPU rendering, so then you're going to want a baller GPU. So anything of I would say the 3080 Ti or a 3090 would be like right in there if you're doing GPU rendering. And for the most part, from what I'm a little biased. I will admit it. I haven't used an Intel CPU in a long time. With that being said, I do know that with the Threadripper, and this is first gen Threadripper, I can render 2K videos 2.5 hours. And this is older stuff. So if I got the last second gen Threadripper on there, I'd probably be like 45 minutes, probably about 2.5 hours, and I could do 4K render. But I'm still limited by the hardware I have. My camera, that doesn't make a difference. If I've got a 1080p camera, so what I render is perfect. It takes me like 45 minutes to render an hour-long video. So yeah. It's like, yo, what's up, Crypto Nico? Oh, that's fucking cool. Yeah, I never thought about that. It's like what block height will Mikkel's baby be born on? Like, I'm out of the bat cage. Nice, nice. But moving over onto the other side of things, I mean, if you're an Intel person, you're going to be wanting to get your hands on one of these 1300, 900, 700 series. Try to get the the non Ks, of course. But yeah, there'll be some interesting stuff. It is outdoing right now for the generation that's out currently. But a lot of this stuff is still leaks. You're not seeing these true performances particularly coming out. And these are also, a lot of these tests are being done in with like a single core performance testing on there, which lightens the load a little bit, allows them to hit the higher numbers like that. It's like sometimes I'd like to know which test they're doing, and then and if you're comparing new chipsets with old ones, it's like, okay, you got to almost wait for what leaks out or comes, what AMD is going to hit back with. And with some of that, bam, AMD Ryzen 7000 CPU already running past the recommended speed. Yo, that's what's up. It's like AMD is not, you're not worried about how high you can sit there and hit with the core frequencies and stuff like that. It's how it can handle the workload. So a screenshot coming from CPU Z tooling shows a 64 gigabyte of DDR5 memory clocked at 32 mega transfers, 6,400 mega transfers per second with cast latency of 32 cycles. The screenshot alone doesn't confirm whether it's the Intel Raptor Lake or the AMD platform, but the title associated with the post screenshot does. So we have a little screenshot being leaked out. No real confirmations as quite yet, but that is still, if this is true, that's pretty nice. That it's like, we know how AMD is pretty damn good with their memory allocation. That is their strong suit, which makes them great for like AI development and pretty much any kind of rendering, because of the way that it'll store and pull. It figures out ways to speed up like the rendering processes. At least that's been in my experience. Everybody's setups will give them different experiences, motherboards, and so on and so forth. So I try not to be like one-sided with it. Intel is pretty decent too. I just haven't used them in a long time. I kind of went down the AMD path, but I love the Intel GPUs. AMD GPUs are hit and miss in my opinion. Hit and miss. So both, if this is the Ryzen 7000 series and 13th gen core Raptor Lake to support the DDR5 5600 memory out of the box, that's a increased speed over the Alder Lake's official support of the 4800 mega transfers per second modules, guys. So, under promise, over deliver. Is this the scenario out of the box now? Might be, very well might be. It's like Mikkel's like, way off, Tech Man. He's already like 8 pounds. Oh God, you got yourself a football player over there, Mikkel. What's up? What's up, MC? Uh, so I'll be really interested to see this one come out. I haven't played with any of the new generation CPUs yet, other than for direct mining. Um, so I do have some motherboards that once the CPU prices come back down a little bit more, I'm going to grab some CPU, AMD CPUs. I think I have an Intel one too. So I'll be able to do some testing here coming up soon, just because I do have some of the newer boards because of Newegg. But so I won't be able to do the newest stuff because I don't have unlimited funds for that. But if I've got motherboards for it, I might as well test on it, right? But then I don't think none of them are going to support the DDR5 memory. I think I'd have to look at that. I do not believe none of the boards support that. I think they're all the DDR4. But whatever. Gives me other motherboards to play around with, though. That's one thing I'm like kind of wanting to do with that stuff. Since I got it, might as well use it. Build maybe a stream deck, streaming machine. I've kicked around that idea for a while. I just never have done it. But whatever. And so it's like we know that AMD is definitely trying to swing back. They're trying to stay competitive with Intel as much as they can. And what was this? And it kind of gives Intel a little run for their money. They've got competition on their heels instead of AMD kind of be like a little bit of a lagging indicator on the market. Intel does something. AMD comes back with a little something to keep them within striking distance. Nothing spectacular, really. Even with the Threadripper, it was the enthusiast line. It still wasn't like spectacular quite yet. You can see the potential with the first gen Threadripper that like I've got. You're like, oh wow, this is a little different, but it still lacked a little bit against the Intel. It wasn't until second generation Threadripper then you were like, oh wow, this is a lot better than Intel can ever give you. So Intel has, with Dr. Lisa Su, has made a lot of strides in the right direction in their CPU department to become more of a rival to Intel for the first time in decades. So as of July 29th, which was last Friday, the earnings report came out, guys. AMD for the first time rose over 3% for the day. Intel nearly fell by 9% after a disastrous expectations of profit and declining revenue in Intel's market cap. AMD was at 153 billion, and Intel was 148 billion at the end of trading day on Friday. This is like the first time AMD has made that shift in decades, guys. So that speaks magnitudes for the first time that AMD is bringing amazing product to market. Yes, like I said, I'm a little biased with their chipsets, for their CPUs. GPUs, they got a little way to still go. I do like some of the stuff that they've got coming up in the pipelines for AMD. Cool shit for sure. But I think they can go further. Tech Man's like, I'm disappointed how they weaponized Threadripper against Intel vPro line instead of leaving it to the professionals and us enthusiasts. I gotta buy a Dell to get one now. Yeah, unfortunately, from what I understood with the Threadripper lineup being the enthusiast line for like myself, who's an extreme overclocker. I've got my stuff on a complete water loop. I push this thing to 4.2 gigahertz on all 8 cores at any whatever I've got the chance to do it. I can do it in little rips because I got to bump the voltage up on it, and I'm not liquid cooled. I mean, I'm not a LN2 pot. I bet you if I did LN2 pot on this bad boy, I could probably get it down to temperatures weren't the problem. I could probably get 4.4. I'd be like, I'd be kind of questioning 4.5 on all 8 cores. But yeah, it's like I'm disappointed that they didn't bring back the enthusiast line for us. But from what I understood, they didn't have enough product demand for it from the enthusiast people, especially when they started just making their regular CPU lineup just as good, because they were trying to go after Intel so hard on the standard chipset lineup. So your 5900Xs, kind of, with the regular Ryzen side, it was amazing. I can sit there and I can overclock the snot out of it and get decent performance out of it. You kind of let your market dictate it, but from what I understood, they just didn't have enough demand from us enthusiasts on the Threadrippers. So they had more demand from the server grade side of it because of just the multi-core thread production on there does everything that they need. I wish. I wish they would come back out. Maybe they will. Maybe do like a special edition run. I might buy it if they did a special edition. AMD, if you're ever listening to me, and you come out with a enthusiast lineup special edition, I'm down. I'll just say it like that. I am down, guys. But yeah, so AMD's rise didn't last very long. So don't be like, oh my god. Things came back. So now it looks like they are down. AMD is like under Intel by a little bit, like maybe 2%, something like that, 1-2% under. So now they're actually neck and neck stock wise, which that tells you where their markets are right now. And I think some of these places are going to take a bigger hit whenever TSMC starts showing issues like they are with their fabrication department. So it'll be interesting moving forward with that, guys. And then kind of going back onto the AMD side, I mean, not AMD, Intel side of things, guys. Supposedly they were looking into releasing to us plebs motherboards, even though it's questionable. Yeah. I heard rumors on it, but I've never like totally seen it. So I'll believe it when I see it. Sometimes some of that stuff that they released this like obscure motherboard. Some of those are like some of the most coolest stuff to play around with, like the old AMD dual core GPUs. I mean, you just get like weird innovation. I'm always down for supporting innovation. Here's an innovation that I'm not sure will take off, especially if Intel is going to be killing off the Arc lineup. So this looks like somebody was trying to make a water block for the new Arc GPUs from Intel. that is, for the lack of better words, just absolute dog poop. Gamers Nexus was trying to test on it. The drivers are badly broken on there. They have a long way to go. Like, they might have had their drivers for their CPUs working good enough to be able to project what you would consider a screen. But yeah, with their Intel GPU side, oh god, so DJ mines. He's tried to get his to mine. It doesn't. And I knew that was going to be an issue right off the bat from it, because it's a new GPU. Nobody's got drivers for it. No miners really integrated for it. Maybe one of the old miners from way back in the day, early days of mining. You might be able to get that to work on there, because some of them were mining on the Intel's GPU. Which therefore you would have these obscure Intel CPU drivers which would get the Arc GPU, I guess, to go into basic mode. But as far as people wanting to go through and I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna mod it up, it looks cool. It's gonna be for their, this is for their single fan. So it's 92 watts. Would you waste your money on a broken driver GPU that's only utilizing 92 watts? A standard case fan, single case fan, can exhaust the heat of this thing out. Just because you got a water block on there doesn't mean you're not dissipating 92 watts worth of heat. And if you're going to go through and have RGB lit up on this, you're going to want to have a little bit of a display on this thing and showing off that, hey, I got a water block system. So you're not going to put it into a small form factor. Most people who use these in small form factors are going to leave the stock cooler on this thing. This thing's not a very thick card. So I just don't understand why anybody would want to go through all of this, and it almost looks like Intel is damn near like pulling the project right now because there's so many issues. Yeah. Supposedly they're looking in the it's like it will happen. The 5700 at launch had little to no mining support too. True, and you get that on new GPUs all the time, and I'll agree with that, Tech Man, 100%. Whenever the 1600 Ti, the 1660 Ti's came out, Mikkel's didn't work because he didn't have driver support with any of the miners. Took another 30 days. So I understand that aspect, but the drivers on this thing are badly broken. And then I've seen the rumored leaks on the enterprise variations of these, and they look more like mining cards than they do look as a viable GPU. So I'm not sure which direction that Intel wants to go with these GPUs. It'll be interesting. I hope that they can bring a viable GPU to market, just to give more options for the average gamer. So I mean, it's like, yeah, I might be a GPU miner, but I want to make sure that it's like I want a good GPU for my computer, and I don't want to spend $2,000 on a GPU like I did. Oh, that's ridiculous for a freaking GPU. It's like I remember people building rigs and being mad at first launch. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Same with the Radeon Instincts M series. Correct. MC. Yep. So it's like I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, and Intel's GPU is dead. No, they've just got a lot more kinks to work out of it. But it looks like they're not going to be trying to release this worldwide, which in my opinion that would be a smart thing if they're going back and trying to rework everything, considering you have Gamers Nexus that's been having so much issues with artifacting, blue screen, features with inside of the Intel GPU tool suite not working as intended. Games not, just kind of having like, it almost looks like the old CRT TVs where you'd have that single line, just kind of keep on going, as it's rewriting each layer by layer on a CRT TV. If you don't know about a CRT TV, you missed out on the old days. And then, of course, we have some leaks on the 4000 series from Intel. Not Intel. Well, I got Intel in the brain. From NVIDIA. So the 4070 coming out with 10 gigabyte and a 160-bit bus may seem underwhelming. You're trying to overclock it. That's not what this is. Is really made for. It's not supposed to compete on the high end. You'll have it. What the 10 gigabytes will do for you guys, especially if you have it on your daily driver, is do you do VR gaming in any way, shape, or form? The VR gaming is going to require basics you're going to need for a Windows PC plus VR. You're looking at 8 gigabytes. And then there'll be certain situations where you'll have VRAM spikes on there, VRAM demand spikes on there, that it'll fall flat on its face if you're maxing out on an 8 gigabyte card. How do I know this? Both of my brothers use, they've got 1070s. 1070 for the one and a 1070 Ti and the other and my other brother, and they both have a little bit of issues with getting into certain VR situations where it just kind of overloads the VRAM on it a little bit, and they get a little stuttering. So with the 4070 series, yes, the 160-bit bus width on the memory is I wish it was a little bit better. I wish you were looking at the like 197-bit bus on the memory. It would give it at least up to the standard of the 1070. I think they throttled this back a little bit. I wish they would have given it a little bit more, but I know they're also trying to get it to not compete so hard with a 4080 or a 4090. It's like, why buy a 4080 if the 4070 is within margin? So they might be, purposely throttling the memory side on there so that, you want the better performance while you're doing VR. Well, then you're going to have to get the 3080 Ti now. I kind of get it. I get it, but I don't like it at the same time. So that's just me. And they're already prepping a variant that's a 12 gigabyte with a 192-bit memory bus on there. So there we go, the 192-bit memory bus on there, which is supposed to already match the performance of a 3090 Ti. Oh my god. So they're trying to give a mid-tier the top tier performance of the last generation. Wow. And it's going to utilize all the power. Hey, what's up for Metal Forever Metalhead? Yo, dropping Dropping it with the euro. Yo. So I'll be very interested to see these. I mean, I'd love to get one of my hands on one of these for testing purposes, of course. You know, it's like I'd like to see a little bit of a higher memory bandwidth on them, but you know, I understand what they're doing here. It's about the money, but we can see the power draw that they're going to be looking at. So the 4090 Ti, they're looking at a 600 watt power draw on there. So I hope you have we're going to be pushing that limit going. Oh, does this house or apartment come equipped with the computer wall outlet? I need to make sure that I have an outlet for my computer. And it's going to be running on 220, and it's going to be a 30 amp circuit just for your PC. Watch, dude. This is going to be the PC of the freaking future. Then you're going to be looking at the 4080, which that's where I would be looking at for value to performance. It's going to be rating it at 4080 Ti. They have not announced the 4080 Ti, but I have seen SKUs. It looks like they might have a SKU for it. They're just not listing it here because there's nothing officially dropped about it yet. But it does look like they have. You can always see what they're patenting. So they've got a few extra patents that they've sequestered, and I'm sure one of them is a 4080 Ti, or its counterpart. It's going to be a binned variation of it. Every lineup, a Ti is just a binned variation. So they know they're going to do a 4090 Ti. They know they're going to do a 4070 Ti. Let's just be real. Everybody, they're going to have a Ti or a super variant of each one of these. So be prepared as AMD launches their stuff and NVIDIA gets scared that they're encroaching on one of their cards a little bit. They're gonna throw out the Ti or the Super, be like, bam, look, we had this it took us a little longer for this. And at that same time, whenever those come out, you'll start seeing the Kingpin variations of it, which are the extra binned ones for the extreme overclockers. And those are gonna be the ones that I'm gonna really be interested in. It's like Forever Metalhead's like, are you ready for the baby tomorrow? Yo, yeah, that's what's up. So, yeah, I'm interested to see these cards getting launched out. And then we'll see it. AMD is a little more tight-lipped on what they're releasing because they do not want to let NVIDIA try to have a little counter swing back at them. With the reason why I'm like kind of interested in the 4080 is you're looking at 16 gigabytes, 266-bit, still in the GDDR6X classification, but it should be the new memory modules. So the memory modules will be to 2 gigabyte variation. So you'll still have only 8 chiplets on the front of the card. You're not talking about dual-sided on there. I am not... if you guys are looking at their Titan class, it looks like they're going to be bringing back the Titan class. It isn't fully announced yet, but they do have the SKU for the Titan class. You're looking at 48 gigabytes, 384... gigabyte transfers, and it's going to be the GDDR6X memory modules. Also, 600 watt target point. These are going to be your enterprise cards. So, if you get these, They are not going to perform that well in an open air chassis. These things are designed to be, if they come out with the Titan class again, they're designed to go into server cases, into a server farm that has climate control. Because with that much memory modules, you're looking at a lot of memory, dense memory on front and back on this card, which you're going to have issues trying to get rid of all of that heat, especially under mining loads. So don't be looking at this directly for mining. I know people are going to do it, but I don't think you're going to get a good value for your dollar by going down and grabbing a Titan class, unless you've got another reason for this, where you're doing AI development or something along the lines of that. So that's not going to be for the daily driver. It's not going to be for mining, in my opinion, at least. I mean, like I said, somebody's going to do it, and I'd be curious on how it does, but I just know, especially if they've got the enterprise grade price with it too. That'll really kind of shake a lot of people out of the market on those. I know, right? Tech Man Tree Hugger gonna be mad at the 4000 series power draw. Does California outlaw it? They tell people, please turn off your brand new computer and charging your Tesla up. The power grid is under extreme demand. Yo, what's up, Jason the Tiger Osborne? What's up? What's up? The crypto babies, yeah. Tech Band's going, oh god, 74 degrees Fahrenheit ambient air temperature. Woohoo! Yeah, that's like ideal mining. Ideal. Oh my god! If you can keep your, even the 3090s are no good under high temps. They're junk, absolute junk under high temps. If I can get my ambient air temp to be around 34C, they're very happy. But the moment they hit like 38 to 42C, they all become unhappy. They've got miners that are in Siberia. Yeah, they run amazing, bro. I'm just saying. Whenever in the wintertime, I'm able to get some crazy numbers in the wintertime because I can just I just pull air in from outside and I heat my house with it, and oh my god, the overclocking I can get away with on that. I'm curious to be able to stick my Kingpin rig in front of the window in the wintertime and just crank it. See what it actually can do. I bet you I can sustain 130 mega hash for 305 watts. All right. And for anybody who now this one will kind of go to the new specifications that are going to be coming up here, but it'll be like, okay, can it be utilized, if anybody still does this, for hard drive mining? Some proof of storage shit. I haven't heard from Newegg on the gift card you won. Might be scamming. Maybe. Hopefully you get it. That'd be kind of bogus. But CXL has the Express Link 3.0 specification to expand its fabric capabilities and management, guys. So they are trying to push the limit even further for anybody who does like data center style enterprise grade stuff. That's what this is going to be doing. The CSL technology is will be sharing a lot of the stuff through its Flash Memory Summit that'll be coming up in August. So Beethoven or CXL consortium is going to be dedicating to advancing the Compute Express Link technology being released for the 3.0 specification, which is going to be pretty cool. If anybody is into that stuff, what it brings to us is we see them push the limit here. I've seen a few other things that was like, wow, where they were taking SD cards and getting 4 times the performance out of it by just pulling out the SSD controller, having a specific controller in a management node, and in the node there was like 64 terabytes of memory in there that was blazing fast. Had capacitors on there that even if you were to pull the blade out in the middle of downloading onto the SSD cards, there was enough power in there to finish all the writes down. This way, even if you were to lose power or somebody pull out the blade before it was ready to be pulled out, it'll continue finishing the flashing process. So over time, they've actually gotten way better with that. I would be curious to see how that would help out with people running, like a flux node on there. Would that help out with the data management with that? So, I mean, there's like a lot of different things that would benefit from that. So any of your staking proof of stake coins and stuff like that would benefit with a more efficient hard drive. Any of your proof of storage, I know a lot of that stuff's dead now, but if you were to have your SSDs separate from your control chip, now you can sit there, and what ends up dying a lot of times on your SSDs is not the memory itself. It's the controller. It's overheated and just dies. So if you were to have that all separated, you can, in essence, take all the SSD cards off of each node and just swap it onto a new board, slide the blade back in, and fire that bad boy up. So seeing the newer standards like this is going to be interesting, because that's eventually we'll see some of that technology coming down the pipeline for even us. Like, imagine having a repairable SSD card that all the parts that would normally fry out on your SSD card over years of utilization on there, you can just replace that. That would be it. And how much faster could you go with your read writes, not worrying about power flickers, because not everybody can, let's be real, can afford to have a battery backup that is also a power conditioner. Some people only have just enough to be able to get a basic computer down. So if you can get a hard drive that would be a little bit more resilient to being plugged directly into a wall, that would help kind of change a lot of people's ability to have, a lot of people's issues they have in the long term. It's like, imagine a college student writing a term paper and power just kicks down. It's like, oh, they turn their computer back on and it's going into BIOS because they now have to reflash their hard drive. What is everybody using for the LHR miner? I'm using NB Miner. Golden Wolf. Hive news, new update, fixed. Oh wow, fixed the flashing tool. That wouldn't flash. Oh, so they okay. They finally. That's awesome. So TechMan was like the AMD B flasher. That I knew that wouldn't. I had a few cards that it was not happy with. Oh, that's awesome. Because like I had to bring it onto Windows in order to do it. Fired up my Windows test rig and then had to flash a couple of AMDs that way. Oh, what a pain in the ass. MC still on the T-Rex. That's still a good one. I know. It's like I hate it. It's a pain in the ass to do it in Windows, but yeah. I bet you it'd be easier to do it in Linux, but I've just never done it in a Linux environment before. So I just lack the experience for it. I probably could figure it out, but I just never done it before. And there's a little something here for anybody who enjoys their AMDs. So there is an unofficial driver, so use this at your own risk. That now NVIDIA Broadcast is no longer isolated to NVIDIA. With this unofficial driver, it will allow it to go to the 5000 series, the 500, RX 400, 500 series, Polaris, RX Vegas series, and much older architecture. Even rumored to go down to the RX 200 series from a decade ago. Imagine being able to pull out an old school PC, fire it up, and have noise suppression on there built in to the driver itself. Like I said, it's unofficial, so like if it borks your graphics card, you've been warned. But I don't have any of my I don't have anything older like that to test out on to see if it's even worth it. But yeah, I would be like TechMan is like, as far as I know, no support tool in Linux for it. Maybe now, maybe I have no idea. I've not, like I said, I've never done it in Linux. It's like everything is done in freaking Windows. It's like stupid Windows. So definitely use this driver at your own risk, guys. Anytime you're dealing with unofficial stuff, it could be a virus. It could set power tables wrong, and you have runaway temperatures on this thing. Let's see here. Let's show it here. Oh yeah, hey, there's even a little screenshot here of what the unofficial Radeon software will look like, and you see how it's got a little noise suppression area here, so it should work on all cards moving forward. Which, if they've got it unofficial, that means it's probably like right around the corner for AMD to officially support the driver. So if you want to hold off because you're like, hey, I'd rather deal with a set of official drivers, like I said, it should be around the corner. Usually when I see it in one spot for AMD, it usually comes around for AMD in general. It's just a matter of them being that AMD's got to make sure that the driver, they don't break the driver for everything else. So they'll probably do a little bit more testing versus open source community dropping a driver out that they, because like you might be giving up something somewhere else. A game might not work as intended after that. There's a whole slew of problems that could possibly happen. Not that it's going to happen. And then I'll end it off like this. So if you guys are looking for GPUs, I know people are like, well, mining's going to be dead as soon as they go to proof of stake here. Mining won't be dead. There'll be a little slump in GPU mining for sure. But slumps in markets are the best time for building out for a next super cycle for my GPU mining. GPU mining always seems to go in these like little super cycles. We've just been in an Ethereum super cycle for a while. It's now time to go into the next super cycle. Something will end up out there. Do I have this magic ball, 8-ball, to be able to tell me what to mine next? No. So I'll be playing that by ear. That's why some of the stuff that it's like NFA, obviously. I'm gonna be sitting here and kind of playing it by ear. As you guys know, I'm also an ASIC miner, so I've been also building out on my ASIC side too, as that is kind of where I want to end up. I mean, will I stop GPU mining? Probably not. But is that going to be my focus? No. Will I stop anybody from the family mine on sending me GPU rigs? Hell no. I'll sit there and I'll run your stuff. I will clean your stuff. I'll maintenance it, do everything it needs to be done on there to keep your rig running right. That's personal guarantee here. It's like I'll make sure it runs right until equipment decides to kill itself. That I can't help you on. But for the most part, I mean, I've been mining since 2018, and I've only had one GPU die while mining. Outside of me doing something stupid. Yeah, I've only had one, and that was really recent. I had a power supply pop. And when the power supply popped, I got a new power supply, plugged that in, everything fired up. But every once in a while after that, I would have to go back in there and reboot the rig. The rig started becoming a little unstable. It wasn't happy. And then when I moved it down to the facility, it decided to rear its ugly head and show which GPU took the hit. So I sent a new GPU down there. Well, it's used, but it mines, and it'll replace the one that got spit out. So yeah, it'll be all good. But if you guys are in the market of a GPU, so during the mining craze, NVIDIA was about 218% above MSRP. At the same time, AMD was about 100% over MSRP. As the mining craze died down, so did the price of GPUs. They still stayed relatively elevated as mining rewards kind of started trickling back, gave people that kind of second hope. People started buying GPUs again. They spiked up around, 83 to 87% above MSRP. Since us going back into a crypto winter, mining revenues are way down. It looks like you can now buy, and then you can get yourself an NVIDIA for 9% under MSRP, depending on where you're looking. And AMD, you can get yourself 12% under MSRP. Yes, we are saying under MSRP finally. Started back in July. Things came back down. So yeah, any of us that bought during the whole mining boom, yeah, we're kind of licking our wounds from buying overpriced hardware. But we've been running it this whole time, so now this is where where people talk about dollar cost averaging. You might have bought at the high on these GPUs. The next round of GPUs you might be buying next are going to be under MSRP. So maybe you get some that are way under MSRP because you looked on the secondhand market, and now your one that you bought at the height with the one that you bought at the drop on the secondhand market, now maybe it averages out both of them to be MSRP for both. So it's just all about that dollar cost averaging. So, and with all of the prices coming down also, which is really nice. If you guys, depending on your device, zoom in a little bit, or if you're on your PC, you'll see this really nicely. You'll see that there is a kind of like a blue threaded dotted line here. This was the GPU availability. This is where a free market dictates this stuff. So as we went way elevated above MSRP, the supply dropped. So we were 218% above MSRP for NVIDIA at the height. We were also at a deficit for demand, for supply on demand. So price had to come up in order to stop demand. This is basic economics. As the availability rose, price has to drop. Now, availability is a lagging indicator on price, because you'll still see, even with more availability on products, you'll still see a elevated price, because it takes a while for the market to stop fighting over the product that had gone into a deficit. As soon as the market stops fighting over the deficit of the product, doesn't matter what the product is, you'll start watching that price come down, because as supply goes up, demand drops. And they are motivated to move the product. So as the product is now at an all-time high, you should be able to walk into any place right now and walk out with a brand new GPU. And you should do it for less than MSRP. If you see a place that's doing it for MSRP, see if they price match and find it for less than MSRP. These are, just basic shopping tips at that point. This isn't even financial advice. This is just shopping 101. You don't want to ever pay full retail price on something. If at all means, if they do price matching, always try to find it somewhere else for $50 less. $50 is a tank of gas these days. I'm just saying. I'm a cheap ass. Always have been a cheap ass. But if somebody can explain value to me of why I need to pay an absorbent amount of money for something, that's a different story. But in the long term, I'm a cheap ass. I know, I saw that the 3090 Ti is $1,300. Imagine all those people who spent over $2,000 for a 3090 Ti, and how much salt that's in that wound right now. It's like, at least you could admit it. Yeah, it's like it doesn't matter if it's an absorbent at a price. It's like it's like if I'm a cheap ass and I don't like to spend extra money on it, and I can find value in something, in a cheaper product, I'll do it. Thrifty is my word of choice. Yes, they call me thrifty. It's like I will go to a swap meet and buy cool stuff for dirt cheap. That's where you get the bargain deals. Barter trade with stuff. Hey man, I like that. What do you need for it? What is it you're looking for? I'll go scour everywhere and I'll go find that. It's like, yeah. Swap meets are like an interesting place of trade. But if you're looking to be building out rigs, realistically, now is kind of the time. Because right now, everybody's waiting for the 4000 series cards to come out. And they're like, I don't want these last generation stuff, the 4000 series coming out. And then they realize they buy a card for an exorbitant amount of money. Then they realize their computer is inadequate. And then, you know, a lot, or they see the sticker price on the next generation hardware and they're like, oh my God, that's $3,000. And they're going to turn around and they're going to look at a 3080 for 12, you know, $1,000, and they're going to be like, yes. And then we're going to see the next cycle of prices start skyrocketing on this older hardware. So it might be best to try to, if you're able to dollar cost average into your rigs, and you were looking to do so already, this might be the time, you know, the calm before the next wave of the storm. Oh, Tech Man, he's like, I bought one with his tax return, $2,500. Ouch. And then now it's $1,400. UFD Tech was talking about that too. He's like, I had to buy it because I had to do a video on it. I had to do some testing on it. He's like, to see it at $1,400 now makes me a little salty. I get it. I bought a 3080 Ti. I paid 2 G's for it. You know, I mean, we all did it. We all did it. You know, price we pay in order to build our mining equipment the way we want. But we understand the value in these cards, whether it's for gaming, resale, or mining, or if you're putting them into a data center and you're putting them into a work environment. You know, it's like these things have a bunch of value. Everybody sees it. Everybody wants it. So, and as mining dies down a little bit and waits for its next super cycle, at least that aspect of the stress of the market for GPUs can alleviate a little bit. So if you guys are looking to build, bear markets are where you do it. Try not to do the exorbitant builds in the middle of a bull run. I did it a little bit because I understood the bull market was going to end and I wanted to preserve value for what I was mining. So everybody has their own different plans of attack. So if you're planning on hodling your Bitcoin and you don't want to release any of your Bitcoin, well, you might need to sit there and figure out, okay, with my job, you know, put $10 here and there off to the side until you got enough money to buy the next GPU. Hopefully by that time, GPU prices have come down even further. I would like to see 60 to 70% under, you know, maybe, well, I would say 30% under MSRP is where I would really like to see the retail value on these GPUs. 30% MSRP in the market in which it stands right now is AMD's at 12% under. They're almost there, you know, 16 more percent. And I think they're more into that value range. NVIDIA will be a little bit higher, of course, but that's how NVIDIA has always been with their GPUs. I think with NVIDIA, if you can get 20% under MSRP on an NVIDIA, you're probably doing pretty good. In my opinion, I wish they would go down to 30% under MSRP too on all of their products. But, you know, I'm not going to hold my breath for them. That's just Team Green. That's how they are. So does anybody have any other comments or questions before I head up out of here, guys? I'm going to go out to the driving range. I've got a couple of clubs I just put new grips on. I want to check them out. And then this afternoon when I get back, I'm going to set up to do another live stream here. Yo, we're going to get a double header today. where I'm going to take apart my A2000 and I'm going to shunt mod the other one, get my maximum hash rate out of that bad boy. So if you guys are interested in watching me mod cards, I'm going to try to do like hardware mining specific stuff in the afternoon, news related stuff in the morning, guys. So I hope you like the little bit of a new format that I'm going to be doing. So yo, be safe. Watch out for crazy drivers. You got a 3-hour drive home. Be safe. Glad that you at least popped in to say hey, and all that good stuff. So, guys, before you leave up out of here, definitely smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. Share this video out on your favorite social media. Get the word out. Helps me grow the YouTube channel, guys. And with that, I'll see you on the next one. Yo, and stay savage.